Hey, how are you? How is everyone out there? I know it's been a while with COVID and just life in general. It's been very difficult. And as you all know, I am a service provider in mental health and then affordable housing, low income housing. So I have been dealing with a lot. There's been a lot of changes happening in our industry and our world in general. So I'm back. I'm going to be consistent because I really do enjoy these videos and people watch them. It's great. And I hope you really are gathering something from them. So today I want to talk about the new lay of the land and what's here. It's not what's coming, what's here. And so some of you all might be graduating, going into school, and experiencing massive shifts in your career. So a lot of careers no longer exist. A lot of jobs that you had that possibly paid very well doesn't exist. You might be coming to that impasse in your life that says, what do I want to do? And I actually started my career in services during the 2008 recession. I had my formal job in 2013 and I was an intern in 2010. So I was there right at the end. I started college right during the recession. I'm in college now, pursuing my MBA in the recession. So I'm kind of like, I guess this is my spiritual path of rewriting whatever I needed to do in that time in my life in 2008. But I'm saying this to give you a form of inspiration and happiness, and also know the significance of whatever it is what's internally pulling you to pursue goals in social work, in affordable housing, in substance abuse and mental health as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, any of those bottom of the pyramid jobs. And those are bottom of the pyramid because you're typically dealing with low income individuals who live below the poverty line. So I want to use this time to discuss how to make a choice. And with making that choice is basically where to start your case management or your social work career because the two are going to eventually intersect. The intersection is going to look different for you as a case manager, which I stand for, which is social services maven. And so as a case manager, right now, I live in the Bay Area. It's heavily impacted by fires, by housing, significant homelessness in youth and transitional aged youth, which are individuals coming out of foster care, and the need for directors of homelessness. That's a huge, it's just somebody done opened the cup and their money is just like this. It's a great opportunity for you to start your career right now in case management and get your foot in the door and not as an intern, as a paid employee. So, where can you start? Where do you want to look? Where do you want to go? I think, in my opinion, that affordable housing, homelessness, and mental health slash behavioral health is the way to go. And it's the way to go because it has existed for years. It's been around for a while, but now it's getting the attention that it needs because it shows the significance and the impact that it has on one's health. We are in a capitalistic society. So with capitalism, we have the mindset, whether you think you don't or not. The mindset stands and decision making stands around how can we spend less money on the poor? How can we give more to the rich? And our number one industry in America is the pharmaceutical company, the healthcare company. So they always want to know how can we limit ER visits, get more individual into some type of insurance, either state or federal, which would be Medicare, or their benefits if they're a vet insurance, to get them to see a primary care physician. And getting that primary care physician can only happen. Proper health and healing and nutrition can only happen when an individual is housed. There's no other way to get around it. You cannot get out of surgery and go into a homeless shelter. Those two things don't mix. You need that stabilization. So a couple of years ago, some people came up with the idea of affordable housing. You might have heard the projects, you might have heard Section 8, you might have heard individuals who did like a board, a room and board, but it's all low income housing. So with low income housing and what's currently happening in 2020 beyond, they are taking individuals off the street. They can't really put them in shelters because of COVID, but they're replacing them in hotels in major cities, major metropolitan cities, which will be LA, the Bay Area. The Bay Area consists of San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda County, Contra Costa County. And then you have the East Coast, you have the DMV, you have New York, and then you have Chicago and the Midwest, and you're kind of beginning to see it in Texas, in Houston, in Austin, in Dallas, Atlanta, Georgia, all those areas where in New Orleans, Louisiana, excuse me, all those areas where there are high populations of a transient community or a homeless community. The government is beginning to see the significance of housing and the significance of individuals being in affordable housing. And so, with you as a potential caseworker, as a potential services coordinator, with you getting in the door, how you want to present yourself is not as an expert. You're not an expert. And if you've never worked in the field before, you really don't know what you're walking into. This is a very much so a field as outside of getting your education in social work of experience. You have to gain your experience in order to learn how to navigate and be the advocate that you need to be for individuals. So by taking your time and looking at who is being funded. Follow the money. Following the money will follow the requirements of those job functions and what those employers are looking for, specifically in nonprofit. Nonprofit is based on grants. Who they have to hire and those skills and qualifications have already been told by them by the individual that gave them the funding. It will be so much easier for you to look for a job if you go onto the website of your county in which you live in and see who has been awarded anything in homelessness, housing, behavioral health, mental health. Those are the three things you need to look for who has won a contract or an RFP. That's where you begin. This video is about how you begin to look for those jobs and the language that you want to use on your resume, and the language that you want to use in your interview process. Because in your interview process is where you get the job. Algorithms is going to get you in front of human resources or the manager. Your conversation and your presentation and your authenticity is going to get you the job in the interview to continue through or to start your career. Okay? So in many interviews that I have done, we will ask a basic question of, have you ever worked in the field? Do you have a family member? Do you have a lived experience of homelessness or mental health? Which are all good things. And it's a very good time to be honest, because when us who work in the field, not too many things surprise us. It's like, oh, okay, great. We actually adore you because we're like, oh, you lived and you're here and you're still pushing through. And so you might get a question like, so if you had someone in the car with you who wanted to smoke meth before they went into rehab for 90 days, would you let them do it? And you have to be honest. And if you say yes, because they're going to be there for 90 days, you're going to more than likely get the job because harm reduction is the model of America. If you say no, I don't agree with that, then you don't agree with the mission and the values of where you're applying to if it has anything to do with housing, mental health, or behavioral health. Anything that has to do with bottom of the pyramid individuals. Those behaviors correlate. It's not everyone, but there's a high population of those that have in some way interacted with substance abuse, violence, incarceration, mental health. Okay? It's just facts. The system has been made for that to happen for them as well, which we'll talk about that later. Systematic oppression and how it manifests in affordable housing and how it manifests throughout, how it's going to manifest throughout your career. So today I'm going to leave you with this. Go onto your county website, go onto any county website. You can start in the Bay Area, you can look at Alameda County, you can look at San Francisco County, and look at who has won the latest RFP in behavioral health or affordable housing. Go through that. It's a lot of pages, but look at what requirements that they are asking for and who they have to hire. Also look at the RFP. What are the outcomes that they have to meet with that funding? Because the outcome is going to tell you the job, which is going to drive, because you're the driver of that interview, not them, which is going to drive the interview. So you might not have the experience, but you'll have the knowledge, and thus you'll get the experience. Okay? So as always, I am here for caseworkers. I am here for case managers. I am here for services coordinators. When I mean you all are needed at this time, you are needed at this time on 10. For the next 10, 20 years, we have yet to see the concrete impact of COVID. And I want you all to get into this career field. I want you to know that you can come in here with tools that I did not have, that I learned through burnout, that I learned through crying, and you don't have to go through all of that. So as always, be blessed and be well. Thank you.